Hello viewers, it's Super GT here. Welcome to some gameplay of me stalling off the line in the Ford GT Le Mans car. So this is a gameplay from last week's league, the Ford GT Le Mans Stock Car League around Silverstone. So we all have exactly the same car here, obviously not in colour, but in terms of performance we all have a stock car. Now this of course means it comes down to driver skill or lack of, depending on who you are. And coming through this turn, this guy's going to come across slightly. We make contact, but we're both okay. But this guy here is not okay. He's going to get totally spun out. And he's gone down into last position, 19th out of 19. And I'm last other than him in 18th. So we can see what we can do from here. It's a 12-lap race. And the good thing about this race is that there is an element of strategy involved. So we do have to do one pit stop, which is just on the right hand side there, the pit lane entrance. So one pit stop for this race. Now this does involve some strategy. Now I was thinking perhaps the boring thing to do would be to pit now, and therefore I would avoid traffic, so I wouldn't be stuck behind anyone. But that's not really any fun, so I'm going to go a bit longer into the race, try and overtake a couple of these guys and then pit a bit later. So 18th at the moment. Let's see what we can do from here. So I'm going to go up to the inside of turn 3, I go a little deep, make contact with that guy, and I'm going to spin round almost. That guy comes onto the track, blocks the guy on the left there, sorry, and I'm up the inside. We make a bit of contact there, meeting in the middle, but I'm just going to carry on there. And as we move on to lap number 3, the guy's going to go defensive into turn 3. Fair enough. I'm going to go around the outside. Some contact ahead. It gets a bit hairy around this section. And I'm through past him. And onto the right hand side. Up the inside. Two guys have made contact there on the inside. And I have gone through into 8th. So that was a good couple of seconds there. Gaining about 5 or 6 positions in the span of a couple of corners. So not bad going so far. 8th position. Well inside the top half of the grid, although first place has got a very sizable gap at the moment. So this is where pit strategy will become more apparent in the race, as we have a couple of people pitting already. This guy's gone wide, so I'm going to go up the inside into the final turn. He's going to force me narrow for some reason. I am just about through. And as we come up the main straight, he's going to just tap my bumper. It's not going to affect me too much. And going into the first turn, I turn in too early, as you can see there, going over the curb. But that actually loses me time. I will show you later a quicker way around that first turn, because this car has absolutely amazing turn-in and brakes. So you really can be very, very brave on the turn-in phase of the corner, and you can mostly get away with it. So adapting my lines constantly in the game, that is the kind of thing that many people need to appreciate and learn perhaps in this game. You've done something wrong, realise what you did wrong, sort it out on the next lap. So this is lap number 8, the end of lap number 8. The guy ahead there going into the pit lane, which promotes me up into second temporarily, although that isn't a realistic second because I still have to do my pit stop later on. But as I said, I'm going to wait a little bit for now. So second, there we go. The position's changing a little bit there because the pit lane entry does cut off the final turn, so you gain a little bit of time initially by going straight on, but then you lose time obviously once you stop in your garage. But then coming through turn 3, we've hooked up with the APEX nicely, and we're going to move to the end of lap number 10. So this is where I decided to go for the pit stop. We've only got 2 laps left after this one, so I'm in first place actually on the road when I go in, and on the exit I'm in 4th. And let's see exactly where we filter in. So we're going to filter in just ahead of 5th place. I'm going to cover him off. He's got the momentum on me, and he's going to pull off a very good move. We're going to make contact, but now he's got the inside line for this left-hander, and into the right I've got the inside line now for this one, and then we're going to just see each other off there, and he's just got through around the outside, which was a very nice move. I had to respect him more than what I did to the other guy on that turn earlier in the race, giving him more space. So this sets up a nice showdown from here to the end of the race. We have a 1 1/4 lap duel between the two of us for 4th place. So this pit stop actually turned out quite good. I was around 8th or 7th before the pit stop phase, and going up to 4th or 5th just after, so gaining a couple of positions out of that. And it's that kind of strategy and thinking which can gain you a couple of positions. You essentially don't want to lose too much time on the track behind other cars, so you can just go into the pit lane instead to avoid losing time. So you can see there around turn 1 taking a much better line with higher throttle and less brake, turning in a little later as well, given how good this car turns in. Now this guy is going to take a poor turn 3. He's going to go defensive. I've forced him to go defensive, and he's gone ever so slightly wide on the exit. That's given me a better and straighter run, so I have more momentum on the exit there. And I'm through into 4th position, and we have only got a half a lap left. And as we move to the final turn here, I'm going to make a catastrophic error by going slightly too wide and getting the throttle on over that curb. We all know how bad the curbs are around this track, well, and any track in the game, let's be fair. And over the line, I'm going to finish 5th. So a disappointing very last corner to that race. But when you think that I did start right at the back, I was 18th at the end of lap 1. 5th place is really rather decent, and there are the final results for you. And we're going to move on to another race. So this one is around Lime Rock. Can we get away from the grid properly this time? Just about get away without stalling, but it wasn't a very good start. But we do gain a couple of positions from the guys who did stall. So into the first turn, covering the inside line, so no one can get up my inside, and I'm through just about okay there. Now, I'm going to hold the inside line once again to make sure no one goes past me on the inside. So I'm not using traction control in this lobby. I decided to turn it off. I was using it in one of the previous 4GT lobbies, but I preferred to try and test my skill without it. I think it is about the same having it on or off. I'm going to go up the inside here of this guy into the chicane at the end of the lap. Just about get hooked up with the apex nicely there, and hooking up with the apex on the exit of the chicane. As we go into the final turn, I turned in a little early there, and again the guy was on the outside, so I wanted to make sure I got to the apex, turning in a little bit too early though. So as we cross the line now, on to lap number 2 of again another 12 lap race. Let's see what we can do about catching up with this leader and trying to keep 3rd place behind us at the same time. The guy in the lead has actually made a bit of a mistake there through the exit of turn 1, so hopefully we will gain a little bit of time. But this guy is very fast, so it will be a race of consistency, which you don't actually see a lot in Forza. Normally it's just a race of outright speed for a couple of minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and then it's all over. But this race is going to be slightly more about consistency and outright speed, I guess, but over a longer period, so you do have to have your wits about you and have a higher level of concentration for a longer time. So as we go through the final turn, that was a decent lap, and I've actually dropped the guy in 3rd by a couple of 100 feet, which gives me that buffer, and I don't have to worry so much about him. Now again, looking at this guy up ahead, he's made a huge mistake, so obviously pushing very hard, getting a bit wide on the exit of that turn, and that has given me a nice boost there. So I'm only about a second or so behind him, or less than that. So we actually see some dust kicked up from ahead there. So do we have a back marker ahead? I can't see one at this moment, but coming through the final turn, I'm a little wide there, and as you can see, the guy in the lead is very fast, so despite making that mistake, he's still going to get away. And then at the start of lap number 6, he dives into the pit lane. So differing strategies here. Now this is what I was talking about in the previous race. I believe he dived in order to get away from this back marker. He didn't want to risk getting smashed off, which is a likely solution, or just getting held up in general. It is quite hard to overtake around here, especially if the back marker is fast, which this guy appears to be. Perhaps he's a fast guy who has just been smashed off and is just lapping around at the back. Now typically in most motorsport you'd expect back markers to kind of make it easy for you to pass, but this is a game at the end of the day that's not always going to be the case. So it's not like this guy is just going to move out of the way for me, so I do have to try and pass him on merit. But he does seem very fast, as I say, so through the final turn he has actually stayed about the same distance ahead. So I'm going to do what the other guy did. I'm going to dive into the pit lane this time so I don't lose time to him. So on the exit, actually there goes the leader, and we've actually got a guy between us now, but the leader or the effective leader, he's actually driven straight off the track, and I'm going to go back past him here. So I'm in 6th position, my favourite position, but this is effectively the lead when you consider that the 5 guys ahead of us have not pitted yet. So this is it's a weird battle because it's not for the lead, but it is for the lead. So coming into the uphill right-hander, I'm going to have to keep my wits about me now because he is right on my tail, and I can see his proximity arrow in the bottom of the screen, so I know that he is not hanging about at all. And coming through the chicane, the guy ahead just cutting the corner ever so slightly, he is in 5th position. So this is a genuine race between us and the guy ahead, although later on he will pit for new tyres and some fuel. So coming up into the first turn, lap number 8, he brakes very early, and I just go into the back of him, and I've got damage, and I'm just going to drive wide because of this damage. I'm not sure exactly how bad it is. It feels quite bad, and the guy behind me there goes past, so I'm going to try and nurse this one round, and I have to make a decision. Do I need to pit or do I stay out to the end? Because in the pit lane I'm going to lose about 20 seconds or more, so it might be worth just losing maybe 2 seconds a lap, just nursing the car around until the end. So it looks like, despite me being slow, the guy ahead is actually quite slow as well. So maybe when I went into the back of that guy, this guy went into the back of me and got damage as well. As you can see there, going very wide, so perhaps that is the case. He does look like he's got damage, and I'm actually gaining on him despite my damage, so that is a very likely solution there, that he did get damage, and he's actually going to dive in. He's telling me to dive in, but I'm going to go for a differing strategy this time. So we're going to be caught here by the guy behind, and I'm not going to fight this one. I'm just going to let him go because it's not really worth fighting for 4 more laps. I do have damage. He's going to get past me eventually. I'm only going to slow myself down. So at the end of lap number 10, I'm just going to drive wide, let these guys go, because there's just no point again in fighting. He's probably going to end up in a very serious accident. So coming through the last turn on lap number 12, I managed to nurse the car home. Despite it telling me to pit, I didn't bother, and I come home in 5th position. Now interestingly, the guy who did pit ahead of me, who also got damage, he finished well down the order, outside the top 10 I believe, so it was actually worth staying out. Now that is a strategy worth doing, although you might want to consider actually saving your pit stop just in case you do get damage, because if I didn't pit as early as I did, I would have been able to pit just for the damage instead. But that is going to round off this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts as always. Let me know your thoughts on the Le Mans 24 Hours, a very interesting race which went down to the wire in LMP1. The Ford GT here actually won the GTE class, so actually well done to Ford on that. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching as always. Subscribe for more, hit that like button, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.